of opposing gravity beams. However, none of these things were at the forefront of the ship. Master Orna Fulsemi's mind as he stood at the center of the destroyer's control room and stared at the data projections which appeared to float in front of him. One showed the ring world halo, under that a tiny arrow tracked to the interlooper's course. The second projection displayed a cinematic titled Human Attack Ship Type C-11. A third scrolled a constant flow of targeting data and sensory dots. He thought a moment of revulsion that these filthy primates somehow merited an actual name, let alone names their inferior constructs, galled him to his core, and was perverse. Names implied legitimacy, and the vermin deserved only extermination. The humans had names for his kind, elites, as well as lesser races of the Covenant, the jackals, grunts, hunters. The appalling temperity of the filthy creatures that they would dare name his people with the harsh barbaric tongue was beyond the pale. He paused. They regained his composure. Fulsemi clicked his lower mandibles, the equivalent of a shrug, and mentally recited one of the true sayings. Such is the prophet's decree, he thought. One didn't question such things even when one was a shipmaster. The prophets had assigned names to the enemy craft, and he would honor their decrees. Any less was a disgraceful declaration of duty. Like all of his kind, the Covenant officer appeared to be larger than he actually was due to the armor that he wore. It gave him an angular, somewhat hunched appearance when combined with a heavy, punctuous jaw, caused him to look like what he was, a very dangerous warrior. His voice was calm as well as mutilated as he assessed the situation. They must have followed one of our ships. The crypt will be found and put to death at once, exalted. The being who floated next to the Fulsemi bobbed slightly as a gust of wind nudged his heavily swathed body. He wore a tall, ornate headpiece made of metal and set with amber panels. The prophet had a shrimped neck, a triangular skull, and two bright eyes which glittered with malevolent intelligence. He wore a red overrobe, a gold underrobe, and somewhere hidden beneath all the fabric, an anti-grav belt which served to keep his body suspended one full unit. The deck. Through only a minor profit, he still outranked Fulsemi, as his bearing made clear. True sayings aside, the shipmaster couldn't help but be reminded of the tiny squealing rodents he had hunted in his childhood. He He immediately banished the memory of blood on his claws and returned his attention to the prophet and his tiresome assistant. The assistant, a lower rank elite named Baku Ikaparami, stepped forward to speak on the prophet's behalf. He had an annoying tendency to use the royal we, a habit that angered the Fulsimi. That is very unlikely, shipmaster. We doubt the humans would have the means to follow one of our vessels through a jump. Even if they do, why would they send only a single cruiser? Is it not their way to drown us out in their own blood? Now we think it's safe to surmise that this ship arrived in the system by accident. The words dripped with condescension, a fact which made the shipmaster very angry, but couldn't be addressed, not discreet directly, and certainly not with the prophet present, although Fulsemi wasn't willing to cave in completely. So Fulsemi said clearly to direct his comment to Ikapami alone. You would have me believe that the interlopers arrived here entirely by chance? No, of course not, Ikapami replied loftily. Though primitive by our standards, the creatures are sentient, and like all sentient beings, they are unconsciously drawn to glory of the ancients' truth and knowledge. Like all the members of the castle, Fulsemi knew that the prophets had evolved on a planet which the mysterious truth givers had previously inhabited, and then for reasons known, this world was an excellent example of the ancients' power and indestructibility. Fulsemi found it hard to believe that mere humans would be drawn here, the ancients' wisdom notwithstanding, but Ekbi spoke for the prophet, so it must be true. Fulsemi touched the light panel in front of him, a symbol glowing red. Prepare to fire plasma torpedoes. Launch on my command. Ikapormi raised both hands in alarm. No, we forbid it. The human vessel's is much too close to the construct. What if your weapon were to damage the holy relic? Pursue the ship, board it, and seize control. Anything else is too far dangerous. Angered by what he saw as Ikaparmi interference, Fulsemi spoke through gritted teeth. The course of action that the Holy One recommends is likely to result in a high number of casualties. And is this acceptable? The opportunity to transcend the physical is a gift to be sought after. The other responded. The humans are willing to spend their lives. Can we do less? No, Fulsemi thought. But we should aspire to do more. He again clicked his lower mandible, touched the light panel, canceled the previous order, load the 4 transports with troops, and launch another flight of fighters. Neutralize the interloper's weaponry before the boarding craft reached their target. 100 units after, sealed within the destroyer's fire control center. A half commander acknowledged the order and issued instructions of his own. Lights began to strobe, and the decks transmitted a low-frequency vibrations, and more than 300 battle-ready Covenant warriors, a mix of what the humans called elites, jackals, and grunts, rushed to board their assigned transports. There were humans to kill. None of them wanted to miss the fun. And that is the end of the prologue. I hope you liked this video. Please subscribe, like, and have a good day or good night.